Well, I'm gonna have to say something unpopular or controversial, which just my hard experience, not even YouTube or online, but don't try to get into a fight between two different women. Inevitably, you're gonna get some damage, but sometimes it's absolutely necessary. So, and to be fair, one of these women is very highly educated, and I'm sure has mastered at least basic logic. The other one has not. Let me do a preface to a more substantive issue because the controversy, yeah, it's important because Marilyn just is a rampage of nonsense and just keeps lying almost every single time you listen to her or go through her community posts. It's just ridiculous. It is very ridiculous with her. So before we get to the Pearl Snappy Marilyn fight, I just want to give some background. And yes, this does involve Aaron, although at this point, to be fair to him, we don't exactly know what happened. It doesn't look good, uh, but we don't know for sure. So I want to be fair to Aaron that we don't convict him wrongly, although again, it does not look good. So what is the big issue? Well, Aaron, to put it mildly, has known a lot of shady customers. One of them was Luis Repetto, and this is a fact. This has been documented on camera. Aaron was bragging that he knew Luis Repetto and that they have very long association. They knew each other in the Sea Org. For those just jumping into Scientology and anti-Scientology, the Sea Org is basically a very elite part of Scientology. People sign contracts, they do a lot of hard labor, get little money, etc., etc. It's a way to show your devotion to the church. So both he and Luis were in the Sea Org. I think Aaron, you could say, was doing like technical work, like quality control, and Luis was an instructor. So they traded a lot of anecdotes and they were friends. But Luis and his girlfriend, and again, I have to be very cautious how to describe this because it's YouTube, but I guess for a lack of a better word, Luis and his girlfriend were sharing with many different activists behind the scenes uh, erotic P. Diddy images and suggestions. So he was acting very P. Diddy-ish behind the scenes. Some people didn't care, some people were interested, and some people were outraged. So some of the affected parties tried to gather information and they contacted Aaron and they very explicitly wanted Aaron to issue a warning on his channel because he has a very big channel at the time. Streets LA was still very big, but he was growing at the time, I believe. So they wanted Aaron to explicitly say that Luis is not a good person, to stay away from, so on and so forth. And needless to say, Aaron got annoyed. He said, I'm not a part of this. I tried to warn people behind the scenes anyway. They ignored me. It's not my issue. This is not what my channel is for. So it just became a big spiral. Now, the issue, I think, is not necessarily is Luis Danny Masterson. You can make that case, but that's a more controversial conjecture. The issue is the cover up that Aaron, when it comes to these other people, whether P. Diddy, Danny Masterson, Ashton Kutcher, berates the church and these celebrities for covering up crimes. And there I have no issue. I think he's absolutely correct. Even if the person is not a Scientologist per se, like Ashton Kutcher is not a Scientologist, you can still charge him with covering up a lot of crimes. And there I think Aaron is correct. However, with Luis, he seems to be doing the same thing. So we're still gathering a lot of information. Women are coming forward to charge him. So we will have to wait and see if he's really guilty. And if he is, like Aaron, I think should answer for why were you either protecting this person or so reluctant to expose him and warn people? Legit question. So where do Pearl Snappy and Marilyn fit in? Well, and again, I am very critical of Pearl Snappy. Pearl Snappy is a very questionable activist. However, good or bad, and I've gotten some mixed messages from people about who Pearl Snappy really is. Nevertheless, Pearl Snappy did not cover this up. She did a lot of good work, diligently gathering a lot of information, presumably screenshots and other testimonies, and really pressed people to not let this go. And apparently, behind the scenes, again, I can't name names because I'm not that involved, but apparently, not just Aaron, but a few other, quote, ex Scientologists wanted to get this thing to go away. And for the record, Nora has piously demanded, or sorry, She's piously asserted she doesn't know Luis, she doesn't like Luis, never did any work with Luis. There is a stream of them together, and she has explained that he went on the stream without her permission. So, yes, there are photos of them together, but she has maintained they have no real relationship, and she is all for contacting the police. I don't really quite believe Nora, but to be fair, really Aaron is the most guilty party because he is the nominal leader, and Nora even provided text messages that, yes, he formally asked people to do this and that, so he is a leader. So Pearl Snappy did not let it go, making Nora, Aaron, and other people angry, but good on her, she was very persistent. Marilyn, on the other hand, kind of played dumb, and that's what we're going to get to. And to be fair with her, she is kind of dumb. But she kind of ridiculed the whole Luis Repetto thing. Now, she did put out a video where she pointed out a factual mistake that some people dated one of her videos wrong. I don't know for sure. I've seen that video many times. It could be we dated it wrong, and that is important. Despite what Marilyn thinks, I do think we should get basic facts correct. However, the charge behind the videos does seem to be correct that she was downplaying or, like Aaron, just doing a cover up. And now she's maintained there is no cover up. But as far as I know, she's given no update or clarification on Luis Repetto. Now, I'm not trying to make Pro Snappy into a hero. She does have a bad record. So, what is the point of all this? Well, apparently, Marilyn, for whatever reason, is now blaming Pro Snappy for a lot of her troubles. So, she put out a community post. And there are two major issues here. One of them is indisputable, and I don't even know why Marilyn, because it's right there. It is right there. Pro Snappy explained this. She literally explained it in the message that she was calling Marilyn a lolcow, LOL cow. Now, for those totally new to the internet, that is a slang term that if you meet someone with very eccentric and foolish views, you're going to make fun of them online to expose them and make them sound even more ridiculous. Marilyn literally is a perfect example of this. But Marilyn being stupid, let me emphasize how dumb, because it's right there. Pro Snappy even gave a definition. She's like, oh, you're making fun of me because I'm fat? Now, technically, a lolcow can be a fat person. A lolcow can be a thin person. Lolcow does not refer to the body. It just refers to the point of view of the person. It says the person is very foolish, eccentric, so on and so forth. It's pointing out you are a fool online. It is not saying you are fat or thin, black, white. It's not saying that. That is not the use of the term. So right there, Marilyn is just lying or is that dumb and can't concede the obvious, like, yeah, you are a lolcow. Maybe try not to be a lolcow. But there is a second issue, and this is even more, I think, alarming, because Marilyn keeps diving into this. I don't know why she keeps doing this, because she claims to be a cult expert. Now, cult experts, for the most part, rely upon this thing called knowledge. You know, knowledge? It's what scientists use. Now, again, I am not defending Pro Snappy here, or Selfless, who is another activist she's with many times. So Marilyn is attacking Selfless and Pro Snappy and kind of makes fun, and this is true, that Pro Snappy has a PhD. Now, I'm not going to go into my own biography. That's not really relevant. But I will also say I'm very highly educated. So it's not a personal interest or even like whatever arrogance, but I do find this alarming that a certain portion of the Aaron people keep denigrating intelligence and being book smart. I don't know why, but it's this very weird anti-intellectualism. And you might not know it because Pro Snappy does curse a lot. She uses very rough language, but yes, she does have a PhD. It's been confirmed. So it might be interesting if this is a legit program, or her dissertation holds up, or her research is faulty, so on and so forth. Maybe challenge that. No, they're just challenging her to say, oh, you have a PhD. That don't make you intelligent. Well, unless this is a very rare program that's totally incompetent, no, in her field, she would be very intelligent. What are you talking about? That's the whole point of PhD programs. Many PhD programs are bad and exploitive. I'm not defending PhD programs on the whole. They are definitely very, very flawed. But in a few genuine cases, no, the person is awarded, whether physics or history or whatever, because they do know more. Like, why are you challenging that? That's just stupid. But with Marilyn, as always, there's half true, half false. Somewhat she put in the community post is true. Yes, Selfless and Pro Snappy have been caught screaming often very foul language and derogatory language at, yes, the elderly and not children. She's lying there, but teenagers. One infamous case, ProSnap was just going crazy at this Scientology kid. And it seemed to be totally unprovoked, and she just kept cursing and cursing and attacking and attacking. It's like, why? I don't know, but it's been captured for all time. It was really bad. Now, Marilyn has nothing to say here because you guessed it, when activists were doing the same thing in other cases, she applauded it. She supported it. She even did a fundraiser. Yeah, she did a fundraiser for Nance Drew, who was blatantly attacking, insulting, and screaming at Scientologists. So she has no issue with the technique. The only issue is that Pro Snappy made fun of her. She's pushing back. Now Pro Snappy's the bad guy. Why magically is she bad? I don't know. And she's like, stop screaming and get a job. Well, are you going to tell that to Nance Drew? You're going to tell that to the dozens of activists you did support for a while? What about them? You tell them they should quit and get a job? What about them? So yeah, it's just a lot of hypocrisy. But I did find this alarming that Lolcow does not mean the person is literally a cow. It's a slang term. I mean, it's like, I don't understand this. If you're going to try to be an online commentator on cults, one, you should really study cults seriously, which she does not. She refuses to do that. But two, if you're going to use, which she does too, by the way, Marilyn uses a ton of slang terms. She doesn't know what it means. Just doesn't know what it means. I do feel sorry for her. She was in a cult. She is a cult survivor. But still, if you're going to try to insult people using internet language, you are obligated to know a little bit about internet language. Otherwise, you're going to come off even more stupid than you were before. Like the use of the lolcow was wholly legitimate. You're proving it's legitimate. You were given a definition. Just concede the obvious. You don't know what the hell you're talking about here. She wasn't referring to your body weight. Now, was there possibly a subtle dig at her weight? Yeah, maybe. But so what? You still got it wrong. So, I don't know. But I hope Marilyn does clarify where she really stands with the more substantive issue with Luis Repetto. I hope. Again, I'm not defending Pro Snappy. She has done a lot of bad behavior, but yeah, why is she to blame now? I don't know. I don't know. Marilyn just does this a lot. If she gets in trouble, she just finds someone to blame and repeat, rinse, wash cycle and begin all over again. But it's like, no, just start doing some real reading, real reflecting. I mean, you're not a good person, but maybe you can do some actual spreading of good knowledge and information. I don't think that's going to happen, but you could start and start by stop denying the obvious. Maybe start there, in my humble opinion.